Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoyed these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you like this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing what might be my favorite watch from Nomos Glashutte. It is the Nomos Zurich Weltzeit Nachtblau, midnight blue, with a 39.9mm, and yes, it is exactly that per Nomos, stainless steel case, using the exterior design penned by the late Hannes Wettstein. It is effectively the German Carrera by virtue of those strident and strong thrusting geometric lugs. It wears easily on my 16cm circumference wrist, being 39.9 across the round of the case and a slim 11.1mm thick. This is a very appropriate watch to wear with a tight cuff or sleeve. Lug to lug, it has its most formidable dimension, as those are rather strong lug profiles, and they extend 49.5mm across the wrist, which is more than you expect in a 39 and change watch. So it is a big watch by virtue of those insistent lugs, and between the lugs a 20mm spacing should you wish to accessorize, but I advise you not to. From the Chicago-based Horween Leather Company, a sheer cut and folded shell cordovan strap, wonderfully seamless on the top and natural on the bottom. It's a horsehide leather strap, so it's almost like a synthetic or a polymer on the top, with no pores, no grain, no tangible texture of any kind, a medium brown and a very cool look. It's like polo boots for your wrist. You will note the Nomos pin buckle. As everything with Nomos, this too has been stylized. There is no default design with Nomos. And I should mention that the case itself is more complex than the lugs alone would let on. You can see that they actually overlap the bezel on each corner. The idea was to create the lugs almost as though they were the brackets of a ring, holding the watch in place as though it were a gem. And that is the effect achieved. You'll also note that they're angled inward on both sides so that they don't appear too visually massive. Everything is of high polish, and there's a strong horizontal created by the junction between the mid-case, the bezel, and the case back. There is a conical profile to the case, so it's broader at the tip of its bezel than it is at the case back itself. You will note quite a good deal going on with this watch. You can step the hour hand independently using the pusher adjuster on the flank, and then all other functions are controlled using the crown and the jump time actuator. The jump time actuator works like this. You can see how it does all the math for you. Now I can set everything in sync. What happens essentially is that I can change my time zone, and assuming I have set the time correctly for whatever the reference city at the index at 12 is, when I change my time zone, the watch does the travel math for me, so I don't have to. The watch also features a dial that is quirky and thoughtful in the characteristic Nomos fashion. Ultra minimalist baton style hands, a sunken and somewhat concentric guilloche cut, lightly textured, minimally calibrated constant seconds, an American style baseball home plate representing your home time, and outboard you can see individual rectangular indices on a stepped hour track that is on a completely different plane from the trench that comprises the reference city ring. And you will see a number of unconventional locations chosen to represent the 24 principal time zones of the world. You can see I'm in New York, so that's my time, but if I were to jump to the time zone typically represented by Paris, you see that the home of Nomos design, Berlin, is located instead where Paris would be. And yes, Nomos is based out of Glashutte, but their design office is in ultra-hip Berlin. Yes, Berlin has quietly become the Portland or Brooklyn of Germany. Other countries and locations, as you can see, Pago Pago in there, many others that are not typically featured on world time reference rings. The watch on its case back is all Nomos. Not just a manufacturer movement, but this does feature their in-house swing system. The swing system is exactly what it sounds like. It is a escapement. It's an anchor, it's a balance, it's a hairspring, it's an escape wheel. All of that packed into Nomos' own Deutsche Uhrenwerk DUW 5201 movement. Automatic winding, 42-hour power reserve with a bidirectional winding system and a rocking reversing system, much like the old JLC 889s. 26 joules. It features a 4 Hz beat rate, so 8 beats per second, 28,800 vibrations per hour, a chronometer grade balance, and you can see it has hacking seconds, Glashutte stripes across the bridges, a double spiral on the ratchet wheel, and I should mention that is one of the few completely hand-finished elements of Nomos watches. If you get something like a Lambda or a Lux, then it's different, but on the mainstream watches, that double spiral is always executed by hand by a guy who does just that at the factory. All of the screws, however, are blued and kiln-fired blued, not chemically oxidized. A micro perlage around the periphery of the plate as well as beneath the balance. It's a handsome movement, nicely executed, and most impressively, it's all in-house, right down to the small parts. What do they import? Well, the shock protection and the jewels, and that's about it. A do-it-all Nomos, and possibly the iconic Nomos of our era. This is the Nomos Zurich Weltzeit World Time in Nachtblau. The dial best described, if I could compare it to something, the Patek Philippe 5524G, and if you've seen one of those, then you know what you're getting in this Nomos, only you're getting it for a whole lot green and a whole lot more blue. See it on the watch box.